Dr. Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
A pleasure to be on.
In popular media, Muslims are depicted often in loveless marriages, arranged marriages, and it seems like they have to defy tradition in order to find love or defy religion or their family. Does Islam have anything to say about romantic love?
Well, first of all, about love itself. Love is something that the Quran says that God puts in the hearts of people. For example, speaking about Christians, God says, وَجَعَلْنَا فِي قُلُوبِ الَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوهُ رَأْفَةً وَرَحْمَةً. And God placed in the hearts of those who followed Jesus compassion and mercy. So this love is there. That's something that it's what God puts in the hearts of the believers. In the 30th chapter of the Quran, Surah Ar-Rum, there we find mention that it is from the signs of God that He created for you spouses from your own kind, and He has put this compassion in your hearts for each other. Many Muslims understand from this that the love is not necessary before marriage, but once you are married and you associate with each other and you are compassionate and kind to each other, then naturally the love will develop. In fact, this is how it develops even outside of marriage. People work together, they have some association together. It doesn't happen overnight. It develops over time. So the love will definitely develop over time within the marriage, and so there is no need for it to be cultivated prior to marriage. And on the other hand, trying to cultivate such a relationship before marriage can lead to many negative consequences, including, from a Muslim point of view, the moral consequence that maybe people will get close to each other and they will commit acts which are close to the act of fornication, which, of course, in the Bible and the Quran is a prohibited deed.
Mm-hmm. So I guess there's a fear that, I think in Islam, there's always been this fear that your desires and passion can kind of take over and lead you in the wrong direction, make you make the wrong choices in life, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's how Muslims view romantic love.
Yeah, so it seems that we would prefer that we approach the subject of marriage in a rational way. We think carefully about, how, our spouse will be good for us, for our children, for our future. Whereas love seems to go in the other direction of saying, okay, I have this feeling and I must pursue this feeling. This is the person I love and I must get married to this person. And regardless of any other consideration. So it looks like it's a dichotomy between this and that. But of course, it can be both and. It can be that one feels attracted to a certain person, and there's nothing against this, because a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says that people get married for various reasons, and the reasons are listed: for wealth, for status, for beauty, and for religion. So you marry for religion, but the hadith itself does not negate the other objectives. Mm-hmm. So, it's possible that the person you're getting married to is a religious person, but the person is also good looking and has good status and even has wealth. So it doesn't have to be either or.
Because you can fall in love with someone not because of how they look or, their status, but also because of their intrinsic qualities, right? Their good qualities.
And you mentioned the term fall in love. People report that, I saw this person and it was love at first sight. Or even if we dispute the idea of love at first sight, nonetheless, stories are galore, not only in fiction, but also in real life. People genuinely feel that they are so much in love with a certain person that they have to get married to this person, and sometimes we have found that sometimes people commit suicide because they really want to get married to this person. That's the person that they love. And people report that, I can't sleep, I can't eat, I'm just thinking of this person all of the time and so on. So that's real, regardless of the reasons for it or who's to blame or how it got to that. people have this feeling. So having that feeling itself, is there anything in the Quran or in the prophetic sayings that would say that this feeling itself is a sin? And I don't find anything like this. On the contrary, we find that there is mention of love in a good way, both in the Quran and now I can mention the Sunnah. There is a hadith in Ibn Majah's collection which says, for two poor persons who love each other, there is nothing like marriage. In that, well, we can understand this to mean that the marriage will provide the consummation for this love that people feel. So the feeling the love itself is not a sin, but what are you going to do about it? Is when you act on it by doing something that is unlawful in the faith, that is when you are blameworthy, but not for having the feeling itself in the first.
I'm sure even at the time of the Prophet, there were many people who had this sort of romantic love within them. We even hear, the poems, Layla and Majnun, but, even amongst the companions of the Prophet, we hear that someone would say, I didn't want to marry this person because I just don't have that feeling, right?
There is an interesting story. It's mentioned in the collection of Al-Bukhari. Basically, there were two persons married, Mughith and Barira. And Barira at the time was a slave, so she didn't have her freedom. And Aisha, the mother of the believers, purchased her to set her free. So once she is set free, according to Islamic law, now she has the option to annul her marriage or to keep it. Because basically the idea is that while she was a slave, she didn't have much of a choice. Now she has a choice. So she chose to annul the marriage. And her former husband, now Mughith, would follow her in the marketplace with tears streaming down his eyes and wetting his beard, pleading with her to take him back. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, saw this, and he tried to intervene on his behalf. He asked the woman, would you take him back? And she said, well, did God command you to instruct me so? And he said, no. And the woman said, in that case, I have no need for him. So this shows that he was in love with her, and the love itself is not condemnable, so long as, he doesn't go touch her or kiss her or something like this.
Thank you for your thoughts, Dr. Shabir.
You're welcome.
If you enjoyed this video, click like and subscribe, and please donate to support our work at QuranSpeaks.com.